Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show for you today. Oh, yeah. Putting the college football playoff on notice, and the Attorney General of Florida, she's not happy, and it is definitely on.
Okay. All right. We got served. So now, I guess, it's on.
Now, the college football playoff, they don't want anything to be on except the playoff. Well, guess what? You left an undefeated 13-0 team out, and the state attorney general and governor, they're not happy. And they're launching an investigation into the college football playoff. They want to know what the crap happened. So let's get into this. And this is obviously everywhere right now. Florida AG investigating the college football playoff over Florida State's exclusion. This is on ESPN by Andrea Adelson. It says Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody, she launched her investigation over the decision that left Florida State out. Said Moody State, the state's antitrust division is sending a civil investigative demand to the committee for more information about the nature of possible contracts, conspiracies in restraint of trade, or monopolization of trade and commerce relating to anti-competitive effects of the college football playoff. She's saying the fix was in. That's what she's saying. She's basically accusing, I guess, ESPN, SEC, and college football playoff some sort of collusion or something, which, we'll see. There's no telling what all's out there. A lot of people think this won't go anywhere. But I can tell you people are angry, and this whole nonsense that this is not important to people down in Florida, it's very important, and they are very angry.
I'll be back.
She said that she was a lifelong Gator, but she knows injustice when she sees it. Says my office is launching an investigation to examine the committee about their anti-competitive possible conduct. As it stands, the committee's decision reeks of partiality, so we are demanding answers, not only for FSU, but all schools, teams, and fans in college football. She said if it's attention they were looking for, they got it, basically. Says college football playoff executive director Bill Hancock issued a statement that read, "We will carefully review this demand for information, but it sure seems to be overly aggressive to a college football ranking in which some fans somewhere were bound to be disappointed." Well, when you set up a 4-team playoff, you're going to tick people off. That's why you should have gone to the 12-team. But you had the Alliance, who Commissioner Phillips over there at the ACC, along with 2 other commissioners, formed an alliance to block 12 teams, which Greg Sankey of the SEC wanted. And they said they just didn't feel like it was time. They just didn't want to do it. And that's why you shouldn't allow feelings to be involved in sports. Let them play it on the field.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
The only thing I disliked more than the 4-team playoff was that lousy 2-team playoff they had before this. I don't understand why it's taken this long to set up a decent playoff format when every other sport on the planet has had one. But, of course, you've got all these old stodgy son of a guns out there that are in control that want to keep everything where they can manipulate it. And now it's going to be investigated. So there you go. I hope you commissioners that voted for that crap are happy. And that goes for Georgia, who should be in a 12-team playoff, and that goes for Ohio State, who ought to be in a 12-team playoff. All 7 of those teams should have been in, but 3 teams had to be screwed, and that's what it boils down to. And look, it makes me mad because this should have been taken care of a decade ago or 2 decades ago. But you've had the powers that be that wanted to manipulate and control. Well, now they got problems. Says Florida State 13-0 won the ACC title. That's not good enough because you got your quarterback hurt, and the college football playoff gets to take that into consideration. Ron DeSantis said he was requesting $1 million to be set aside for Florida State to sue the committee if it chooses.
$1 million.
And this is not a lawsuit yet. It's an investigation that could become a lawsuit. Part of the investigation, Moody wants communications between the SEC, ACC, NCAA, ESPN, Group of 5, and Power 5 conferences as it relates to deliberations, compensation of committee members, how individual committee members voted, the name of those present during any vote, and information related to the software used to record votes, in addition to several other requests. Oh, yeah, Moody wants the truth.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
And the college football playoff, we'll see. We'll see how much they cooperate. We'll see how much ESPN, SEC. It's hard to say. People might get their back up and say, hey, this is a publicity stunt. I'm not giving you anything. This could get ugly real quick. And Kirk Herbstreit went on a little rant. He said, because Alabama is better, ! Period. So is Texas, so is Michigan, so is Washington, so is Oregon, so is Georgia. He said, I watch 10 to 15 games a week live. He said, I'm allowed to have an opinion on who I think is better. If FSU doesn't like it, the best four tell the conference commissioners to change the protocol to most deserving. Until then, I and everyone else is certainly allowed to give an opinion in subjective discussion. Don't like it, change it. Yeah, Kirk doesn't want to hear it. Old Kirk Herbstreit, he's Mr. ESPN. He's not happy. He's just pretty much saying, too bad. You don't like it? Suck it up, Buttercup. And Cole Kubelak basically unloaded on him. He said he blasted the Florida Attorney General for launching an official investigation, said it's laughable that we continue to go down this path. Says, I don't know if by being a lifetime Gator fan, she has the understanding of how all of college football works. Do we just assume that? I guess we all have just forgotten that Florida State actually signed up for this. Florida State agreed to a part of this. Florida State said they agreed to how the process was going to work. And Kubelak added, he said, is there anyone who thinks this is real, that this is good, worthwhile, called for? I'd love to hear from you. So Kubelak's calling him out. Kirk Herbstreit's calling him out. Paul Feinbaum the other day called this fake outrage. Fake outrage. Yeah, Feinbaum loves to rip on fan bases. That's one of his sticks. But he ripped them real good. So basically ESPN, it's going to be a battle between Florida State, ESPN, and I guess all these powers that be, college football playoff, all that whole committee. So we're going to see some of this should come out because if they get it, Florida State does it, it's going to come out. And there is a possibility that Florida State could use this to get out of the ACC. If they can prove antitrust between the conference and ESPN or the college football playoff, if they can prove any of that antitrust, they might be able to get out of the ACC without having to pay that huge penalty, which is close to $200 million. And it says, what we know isn't a whole lot, except FSU officials have been perpetually unhappy at the ACC because of a conference media rights deal that pales in comparison to the SEC and Big Ten. FSU President Richard McCullough, AD Michael Alford, and Board of Trustees have all made it clear that the future $30 to $40 million annual revenue discrepancy with SEC Big Ten teams is why the Seminoles are exploring exit strategies.
There you go. There you go.
We cannot be $30 million behind every year compared to our peers, Alford said a few months ago at a Board of Trustees meeting. Something has to change moving forward. So are they going to use this to maybe get out of the ACC, out of that media rights deal? This is going to get real interesting, and it's going to get very probably political, and it's going to get ugly. You can just count on it because the people down there in Florida are ticked. They don't like being made fun of. They don't like being accused of fake outrage and laughable and all. I'm just telling you, I know these people. I've been talking to them. I've been hearing from them in comments. It's not fake outrage. They're angry. They're very, very angry, and they feel cheated. They won every single game you could win. Went 13-0, did it with a backup quarterback, did it with their third-string quarterback, and now they'd have their backup quarterback back at least, even though they don't have Jordan. So I can see why they're ticked off, and this was going to happen eventually, and Georgia ought to be in, definitely. They lose one game by 3 points because a kick that hit the goalpost. Give me a break. And then Ohio State, they lose one game by 6 points on the road. Had that been at Ohio State, they probably win that game. So they lose by that much, they're out. And they boat raced everybody else just about. So it's just this Final Four nonsense without having a playoff is ridiculous. The BCS thing was ridiculous. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. That's what it boils down to. And the Florida State Seminoles and the Florida Attorney General are going to throw those chickens right at them. And they're going to have a mess. And I'm glad. Y'all had this coming. You decided to totally control, manipulate everything. You had it coming. And for the alliance, those three conferences that voted against it, congratulations. You are awesome.
Sacrifices have to be made, mister.
That's awesome. I just love it when politicians and commissioners, they like to control sports so that decide who's going to win and who's going to play for stuff. I think that's wonderful. It's the one good thing about sports. It's the great thing about sports is that you play it on the field. It's not a political committee meeting. See, I'm getting myself all upset again. I hate politics in sports. I can't stand it. It makes me sick.
How dare you?
All right, I'm going to calm down now. I'll tell you what, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover this type of stuff because this is the stuff that I'll sink my teeth into. And if you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit this little button. And I think Georgia and Ohio State got cheated too, and I'm going to say that again. And right over here's the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. And we'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. I'll be a little more calmed down probably. And maybe not, though. It's a risk you're going to have to take.